Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome to Splatoon. It is Splatterday Night Live, the return, back on the Wii U. But tonight is all about Splatoon 2, as Vicky is posting here on Miiverse. She's got a nice little logo drawn, just like the game. So, we're going to talk all about Splatoon 2. I was one of the few people to play the game. I was lucky enough to get to play the game, and I'm here to tell you, it is good. So I'm going to jump into some matches and go into more detail than that, of course, but I have to start by saying, so we had the Splatoon presentation, or what's more of the Switch presentation, obviously, but Splatoon was a big part of it. That was the part that probably had me the most excited. Maybe Zelda and Mario, but at the same time, you know, this is the game that I really wanted to see what the sequel was going to be like. We don't want to do a squad battle. We want to do private. You can tell I'm too excited. Got to go through these options. All right, so I'm going to let a bunch of you guys jump in, and we will start talking about this new game. So, Nintendo was very kind and reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to go to this event that is kind of secret? I wasn't allowed to talk about it until, you know, during and after the fact, but Thursday, you know, 2 days ago from when we're streaming, we had the Switch presentation, and that had a ton of stuff in it. But then the next day, bright and early, I stayed up till, you know, past midnight to watch the Switch presentation. And then I had to get up at like 6 in the morning because starting at around 9, we were able to go in and start playing all these new games, a bunch of them. But we didn't get to play Mario because that's not out till like the holidays. They didn't have a demo for that or anything, but I saw a lot of footage of that. You guys can ask me any, you know, if you want to know about any of the other games, I'll, you know, of course mention that stuff and talk about it with questions. But I did play the most of Splatoon, and that is the, you know, Splatoon 2, and that is what the focus is going to be on tonight. So yeah, Nintendo was able to provide like accommodations and travel and everything. It was awesome. They, if you noticed when I tweeted about it, I had to say travel by Nintendo because there's all the, you know, stuff about you have to be forward about, you know, having somebody pay for you to be there. So that was very nice of them to do that and help Danielle and I, my girlfriend, make the trip out to New York City. It was such a whirlwind thing. We left like Thursday morning. We were in New York City, and then the next afternoon, right after, we went from like 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. playing stuff, and then right after that, it was like to the airport and get back home, and now we're, you know, we're here, and I'm streaming tonight, so it's crazy that I was just in New York City, and now I'm back home in Buffalo. But yeah, so they provided all that stuff, and we got to go to this thing that was a lot of media and YouTube people. Like, I don't know that, you know, I work on videos enough where I don't watch that much YouTube, but I did recognize some people, like the guy from Game Explain was there, and Justine, and actually got to hang out with Zach Scott again. It had been a very long time since I've seen him, so it was nice to hang out with him. And yeah, we had several hours to go around, and it did take some time to get into some of the demos. It had to wait. We started with Zelda Breath of the Wild, and a lot of that, you guys, if you're, you know, excited about Zelda, you probably already saw, because we got to play the demo that was at E3 and some of the other events. It was like a 20-minute controlled thing where we were able to play through the beginning little portion of the game. So there's not too much there, but I'll talk about that in a separate video. I do have footage of Zelda, Splatoon, and some other stuff that I'm going to post and talk about specifically. So you guys will get to see Splatoon 2 from me actually playing it as well. And then there's somebody behind us here. Ooh, jeez. Inkzuka snuck around. So everyone's going to be so good at this that I'm going to have a tough time adapting. I haven't played the original here. I just played the sequel, but I haven't played the original here in a while, but hopefully I'll adapt and get back into it. I got to shake off the dust. But yeah, so let's focus on Splatoon 2. Now, they had stations on, they had 8 setups on each side playing with each other, 4-on-4, and this was a demo version. I have to specify that it was a demo one. Almost reminded me of getting sniped through a wall. It reminded me of playing the test fire a little bit, because that was kind of the setup. It was one map instead of 2. It was just one map, but it was a new map, so I'll talk about that. And it was 4 different weapon sets to choose from, and one of them was brand new. The rest were older sets, but they do have a lot of new parts to them that I need to mention. So but it was like a normal map like this. It was, or normal match like this. It was Turf Wars, and the map is called the Reef. And the Reef was, it did remind me of Urchin Underpass a little bit. It seemed to sort of bigger in a lot of ways. The middle area had a bridge and was a bit more open. It felt like it seemed like it's going to be a little easier for chargers than Urchin Underpass. There were trees and things and lots of little areas to scamper up. There was a car right at the beginning. One of the first things I noticed, if you guys watched that trailer of Splatoon 2 from the presentation, there's pigeons instead of sparrows now. I think they were sparrows, the little brown birds that are in this game. But now there's these fat pigeons that'll like puff up and yeah, you can kind of shoot at them. And I think the reason for pigeons now is because Splatoon 2 takes place in a, there we go, traded with Guzma. We gotta meet him eventually in Pokemon. But yeah, the setting for Splatoon 2, we saw a little bit of that. It's actually Inkopolis Square instead of the Booyah Base Plaza area because I think it's based off of New York City, which was kind of nice that, yeah, we were just in New York to play it, so it felt very surreal to see that. And then Mario, if you watch the trailer for Mario, that's also, New Donk City was based off of that quite a bit as well. Here we go. But yeah, there's a lot of influence of New York in these Switch games. But anyways, that's maybe why they held it there. The other thing with the new setting is that it takes place 2 years after the first Splatoon, and I think that the reason for that is because it actually is going to be 2 years after when it released. They timed that pretty well, and if you notice, I put some of the art, because we're comparing the games, put some of the art in the thumbnail. The Inklings are older. They look like they're older kids, that they're maybe if these guys, I can't remember if they said maybe 12 or 13 was the age range they were supposed to be in this game. In the sequel, they're probably, 14, 15, getting up in the teens. They're starting to drive their cars. There was a car in the Reef match. Who knows whose car it was? It was kind of fancy. Maybe it was Judd's, and he uses it to get to different places to judge the matches. And the other thing I wanted to mention with Judd, at the end of the matches, Judd does the judging in this game, but now he has this tiny little cat, this kitten with him, and everyone's been calling it Judd Jr. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be his child, but who knows where that kitten came from. Maybe it's a clone or something, because he does look just like him. Because it's weird. Judd if you played the story mode, if you haven't, this is spoilers, but if you played the story mode, hopefully you have by now and you don't mind me talking about this, but Judd was like frozen, or sealed away in cryogenic sleep for however many, was it like thousands of years or whatever, from the time when humans were around, I believe, still. And he's like the only remnant of the old world in this new post-apocalyptic Squidland. But yeah, so Judd, I don't know how he has a kid, but at the same time, it's adorable, so I don't mind. And so yeah, the baby will always be on the bad guy's side, so you're kind of rooting against the little one, but it lessens the blow when you lose because you got this cute kitten staring at you. But anyways, so I was playing on the Reef map. That was the only one, but it was a nice balanced map. It had a lot of turf and some nice little hidden areas. It has a car. I'm trying to remember some of the other features of it that were unique. There's a lot of new branding, but I did see some of the old stuff. And the clothes, tons of new clothes to fit the new style of the Squid Kids being older. But I did note it, yeah, some of the older brands, I think Fire, what's the one that's the little tempura squid, or shrimp? One of you guys will be able to remember. But yeah, the branding, I think they're going to have tons of new clothes and stuff, of course, to fit all that. And so the weapon sets, I can go through them. I'm gonna finish up with the new one because that was the most exciting for me. I'm playing my brush right now, my ink brush, and that has been my go-to weapon for so long, and the one that I really tend to gravitate towards whenever I want to try my best at doing well enough. I go to the brush and try to survive with that. We got another brush over here though. But yeah, the brush was always, the Octobrush and Ink Brush, as soon as those came out, I knew that they were going to be something I played a lot. And then I met the new weapon in Splatoon 2, the Splat Dualies is the one that I'm gravitating towards quite a bit. But I'm going to start with the old weapon. So, Splatter Shot, the first set that I had, available to me was the normal Splatter Shot. All the weapons that are returning have been redesigned. They look a lot slicker. They look like something that someone who plays paintball might use rather than the kind of toy design of a lot of the stuff, the base weapons in this game. They don't look as much like a Super Soaker. They do have little, the Splatter Shot has like a nozzle at the end or like a little valve to twist. but it does look more mature to fit the Inklings being a little older. But yeah, that set had the burst bomb, just kind of like, you know, you would see on this one. I'm gonna get stuck here and in trouble. I'm gonna not be able to get out. Get him, get him, get him! Ah! Took one of them out at least. We might lose this one. The last match was easier because somebody disconnected. So the Splatter Shot had a burst bomb, and then the special was, it's called the Tenta missiles right now, and I did watch the Treehouse stream with the localizers from Nintendo of America, and they mentioned how they might change the name of that because the guy originally named it the Tenta missiles because he thought it shot 10 missiles. If you look at it, it does have, it's these huge launchers. There's 2 of them on either side of the Inkling, and it does have 5 spots on each one, so I could see how you would think that, but you can target, it's basically like a targeting system. You pull these launchers out, and you have to scan around to try to find as many of the, you know, opposing squad as you can, and if you manage to lock onto them, you have a large reticle that you can use, and if you manage to lock onto them, then it will fire 4 missiles apiece. They'll fire up in the sky, almost like an ink strike, but they're not going to cover as much ground. They're kind of like mini missiles in a way that will really wreck you if you're in the path of them. But they're not that hard to get out of the way. You can kind of see them, you know, arcing down. There's little targets and stuff that'll help you be aware that somebody is after you. You can pretty easily dodge them, I found, so they might change that. But at the same time, it's like an ink strike that targets in on an entire squad if you can manage to get them. I think it's an anti-camping tool for the most part, where you could use those to try to get people that are all in one area, keeping something locked down, and you can get them out of there by just kind of using, it's like an artillery in a way, where it shoots a bunch of missiles up and then they all come down crashing. So if you're not paying attention, you might get hit by them, but at the same time, if you got room to maneuver, I think you can dodge it, just like an ink strike. But at the same time, it was pretty cool, so that was the first new special. And I should mention, too, that all of the specials are new. And I know a lot of people were asking about old weapons returning. I'm pretty sure they are going to bring back all the old weapons, because they did tweet, the Splatoon developers, the Japanese ones, tweeted out that the slosher, and I think they said like the blaster, they were saying a ton of different weapons. So I think they had confirmed that all the old weapons will probably be back. They might have new sets every, you know, like a new special and new sub-weapon, but at the same time, they are going to bring back the old weapons, so don't worry about that. I don't think we're going to lose the brushes or anything. People might be waiting to see if it'll return. But yeah, so, but the thing that I was going to comment, you know, I had to mention that they are returning the old weapons, but the thing I was going to say is that they are probably not bringing back any of the specials, and we are most likely going to get all new special weapons, probably just in an effort to rebalance the game, because if you look at ranked stuff, you know, ranked play, especially like tower control, the bubbler and the kraken, things like that that make you invincible, can really be frustrating to deal with. A team full of bubblers can be the worst. You guys have seen me, you know, kind of rant about bubblers a little bit. But anyways, the specials, they should be all new, but I was only able to see 4 of them because there were 4 sets. But it was cool that they, you know, they're mixing up even the original Splatter Shot, which seemed largely the same. That was the weapon that felt most familiar, like there weren't really too many changes to it. That set had the burst bomb like it normally does, I believe, but it had that new special with the Tenta missiles. And then the next one is the Splat Roller. I guess we'll do tower control. I was just talking about that. The Splat Roller was a little different. It still worked largely the same way. Again, it had a new redesign that you can see in some of the art and stuff. But I saw someone say in the chat, I love the fat cat. I'll get to I saw some people saying, I will try to answer questions and comments once I get through the info that I'm, you know, want to tell you guys about. But yeah, so the Splat Roller, let's play with a roller while we're talking about it. I think that would be good. So the big thing that I noticed immediately, I was wondering, it looked like the roller at first only did this vertical, you know, flick, where you turn the roller sideways and you flick and it goes farther. It doesn't have as wide of a spread, but it goes farther out, almost like a slosher. Probably won't go up and over stuff like the slosher, but it does fill a little bit of the niche of the slosher. And at the same time, it doesn't quite do the same thing, so I think it'll be still good to have sloshers around. But the, so yeah, that feature, at first I was like, whoa, they completely changed the flick to be farther and not as wide-ranging or covering of ink. And then I realized it looks like, and I still have to, you know, I couldn't really confirm this too much because I wasn't able to play as much as I would want to. I'd probably still be playing it if I could. But the thing that I wanted to mention is that if you're just gonna flick your roller like this and you're not jumping, it seems like that was a bad timing to be talking about flicking idly. But yeah, so if you're flicking your roller normally, it should just do the horizontal flick. And if you jump and flick in Splatoon 2, it does that vertical flick, which is going to be very useful for hitting far off targets. Because again, the rollers, they've got a lot of strength. You know, they can cover a lot of turf, but in some of the ranked modes, they can suffer because they don't have as much range, and you're slow with the draw of the of flicking your roller. Whoop. There we go, I got somebody. Almost popped the Kraken, but I didn't get it. So yeah, now they've added this new move where if you want to, you can do that vertical flick to extend more ink out. And that was the main difference in the roller, but it had a few new other tricks that were interesting. So the basic Splat roller set had had a new special and a new sub-weapon, unlike some of the other sets. The other three sets all had the same sub-weapons from this game, but the roller had a curling bomb. I kept calling it the Woomba because it seemed like a Roomba, but you know, with Woomy. But I'm pretty sure that is an SNL skit that they wouldn't want to associate Splatoon with. But anyways, so yeah, the new sub-weapon, the curling bomb, kind of acted a little bit. This is such a stalemate here because of the lockdown they've got, and they're not even taking the tower anywhere. So the curling bomb is it's almost like the Seeker, where you send it out and it goes in a path, but rather than exploding when it hits anything like the Seeker does, it will try to bounce around. It will bounce for quite a while, and the length of time that it bounces seems to be dictated by the oh jeez, nope. Well, I got him to jump off the tower. The length of time that the curling bomb extends and bounces around like a pinball is dictated by how long you hold it before you throw it. So you can kind of charge it up a little bit to go a bit farther. And it did seem to use a good amount of ink, kind of like a Seeker. But I did like the fact that even if you throw it out and you hit something wrong, you know, you hit something along the way, it won't just explode, but it does not home in on opponents. It just kind of bounces around. So if somebody's in an enclosed space, that seemed like a very good sub-weapon to use. I liked it a lot. Maps that are more open or have ledges that it can fall off on might not do as well with the curling bomb, but at the same time, it was fun to use. I think it'll have a use here. It's just, yeah, maybe not in tower control in certain modes where it's gonna bounce right off the edge of the map or something. Somebody right back there to hit. Oh, and I got somebody on my tail there. Jeez, they're everywhere. We are in a bad way here. Oh, get him! Should use the Kraken there. We do have a slight lead, even though I'm getting destroyed here constantly. Oh yeah, so the other thing about the roller, it had a new special called the Splashdown, and that one was really interesting at first. So it seemed like a pretty quick charging special, and when you use it, it will make your little Inkling take some sort of bomb in their hand, and then they will... Oh no, we're not the green team. I thought we had the lead here, but we're getting destroyed and blocked off. So the Splashdown special is the second new special. It kind of slammed down a bunch of ink around you, and it made this bubble of... Not a bubble, but a little torrent of ink rain down, and... Ooh, nope, I'm in trouble. I'm not going to survive this, because I got a blaster on my tail and then somebody behind me. So, yeah, it was just kind of... If you've seen... It just reminded me of Iron Man, with him, like, slamming down with his fist, like, landing. And that is the key strength of that sub-weapon, is that it works really well from a super jump. And I gotta talk about super jumping a lot, too, because that is very different now. But the... see right here? Yep, there we go. So the yeah, the Splashdown, it's kind of a nice little get off me tool if someone is in your way and you're you know, all around you. If somebody groups up on you, like say we had a Luna Blaster right up next to me, I could use that special and it would hit everything around me with ink. But the real quality of it that's really cool is that when you super jump, you can use it in the air, and when you land, you send out that wave of ink around you. And that is going to be so good for super jumping into the middle of battle, because the big thing with super jumping, you guys know, if you super jump in and you're vulnerable, someone can take you out so easily. But if you use the Splashdown, anyone who's around you is gonna get hit with that ink. So it's like a great way to trick people into, you know how people constantly will sit and try to shoot where you're super jumping when they see that you're on the way. So they will, they'll throw that out there. So yeah, the Splashdown, I think that's gonna be useful for people who like to super jump into the mix, and it still had this defensiveness about you where you could kind of pop it and it would hit people too close to you. And then the third set, the one that I did one match with the charger because I wanted to try it out. I'm horrible with the charger. It's never been my weapon of choice, and I don't think I did really bad with it. I have some footage of it. I don't know if I'll use it because it was pretty bad. But yeah, the charger has some new tricks as well, and we're doing Rainmaker. I might try an Octobrush set for this one. So yeah, the charger has a, the sub was a Splat Bomb, which is, all this stuff is redesigned look, but the Splat Bomb basically function the same. And the special is really interesting. It's called the Stingray, and it's like a high pressure washer type of thing. If you look at it, it almost looks like a, when you use it, it's kind of like a Splatling, but it hits the steady stream. When you use it, though, you need to make sure you're aiming right where you need to be, because it is a very slow turning weapon. It's like this huge beam that you're shooting out, and the Alexander says Adam will never look at the chat like I am right now, Alexander. I'll get to, questions once I go through this new stuff. But yeah, so the Stingray, it shoots out this beam. It's very powerful, but very slow moving. The advantage of it is, like the Killer Whale, it can go through walls. You just shoot so powerful, I guess, that it phases through the terrain. So if someone is hiding, just, you can use this special, Stingray them through where they're hiding, and I can see that being super powerful wall hacks, but at the same time it has a lot of weaknesses, does not last very long. You really need to be prepared to throw that out at the right time, or you're gonna kind of waste your special. So I think they tried to balance it quite a bit by making it have some big disadvantages because of how powerful that can be. It maybe not get, won't get a ton of kills unless you are really good with aiming it, and there's a lot of people grouped up, but at the same time, it does seem like it'll be very interesting. And oops, didn't mean to do that. Thought I had the Kraken, but every time I switch to the Nouveau Octobrush, I'm like, pop my Kraken. Nope, it's the Inkzooka. So yeah, and speaking of Inkzooka, the last set I have to talk about the revamped Inkzooka. It's not an Inkzooka anymore. So yeah, that is the Charger set with Splat Bomb and the new Stingray, but it does have something interesting about the charger that's different. So normally when you use a charger, you got to charge and then you're slowly moving around, and you have to deal with how slow the charger can be with walking. You get that full charge and you just become a sitting duck. Your beam is shooting out, they know exactly where you are, and you have to deal with not being able to move very much. Now, the new thing with the charger for the sequel is that when you charge, you can actually go into squid form and move around, and you will hold your charge. You'll have this little glow, and that's the disadvantage. Not a glow like his special there, like Jordan. But the disadvantage of it, you get more mobility now in the sequel with your charger. There's those birds. But the problem is, when you have a full charge, you get this glow about you, just like the Rainmaker. This is the perfect time to show this. I thought that was an enemy one for a second. Okay, we've taken the lead. Get this guy out of here. Good. So yeah, the glow that you get is very similar, evocative of the Rainmaker there, where it will really show everyone around where you are when you're using it there. And so that's the trade-off. Everyone will know exactly where you are, but at the same time, it does make, ooh, jeez, bubbler. It does make it so that you can move so you're not always sitting in one spot. The chargers are going to be a lot more mobile in Splatoon 2 and have a lot more, you know, variety to what they can do. They're not going to just sit in one spot and camp the whole time or try to, you know, that's what the chargers do. So I'm not disparaging against chargers, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It'll probably make a lot more people interested in playing chargers if they weren't already. And the other cool thing about the well, yeah, that's the big change with the charger. Just like the Splat roller has that difference to it. There we go. Get my tapping speed back up. So yeah, the oh jeez, that was close there. Glad that I didn't mess that up. Ooh, gonna jump up and get them quick. There we go. Jeez, that was bad too, almost. Oh my gosh, fight the Kraken! And back it up, because that's gonna be bad if they. Ooh, they almost. Okay, we can get this. We can get this. Yeah, there we go. All right. So yeah, the charger's a little different, just like the Splat roller. And the last set, got to talk about this. The new weapon, the Splat Dualies. I'm sure you guys saw a bit of that in the presentation, you know, the Switch presentation if you're watching, and the trailers. That is the big highlight. It's on the box art. It's in my thumbnail. The main new Inkling Girl mascot is using it. I need to back up and nope. I had my Inkzooka. I should have used it. Jordan's spinning around. But yeah, when Jordan has those charges, he'll be able to squid around and then taunt people by doing that. So the the Splat Dualies. This was the biggest surprise and of the the new stuff, and also the big thing that really took me aback because I'm like, man, I like this weapon more than the brushes. I didn't think that would happen. I played a few matches with it. I'm like, this might be the new weapon that I choose to use when this game comes out. So yeah, look forward to the Splat Dualies. It is a dual wielding pistol setup, but it has these nozzles on the back that will propel you when you hit the B button and you're shooting. So normally, or I believe it's B, or whatever the jump button is gonna assign to, you can't jump when you are shooting with the Dualies, so that's like a trade-off. But the big thing, the real cool feature of them is that they shoot two beams, but if you're jumping, you do this tactical dodge roll rather than shooting out. And get down here and just kind of jump into the mix, because otherwise I'm gonna get killed there. All right, I don't know how we did there. I was more focused on talking. Sorry to my team. So the Splat Dualies, dual pistols, two reticles. So a wider spread than most of the shooter weapons in this game. And, the splatter shot, it kind of spreads a little wider. Very close range compared to some of the shooters, almost like the Splatter Shot Junior. But the big thing is that you can, when you're shooting, you hit B, you do this tactical dodge roll to get out of the way. You can jump in any of the direction that you choose, and then your two guns will focus on one spot, and you fire faster during that period and do more damage because of it. But the bigger thing of it is that it is a very nice way to get out of the way of somebody trying to splat you. You can use that to dodge over and then hit them really hard, because you get a second or so of focused fire between both of the Dualies to hit them. And yeah, it's just a really interesting new weapon that I was not expecting. And I love that dodge. You can do it twice in a row too, maximum. And it has the new setup of being able to get out of the way faster than using your squid form. Like this instant dodge roll is going to be interesting to see how people use that. If it's going to be, you got to be fast to target someone using the Dualies, because they're going to maybe adjust immediately, not too far for the roll, so you can pan over and get them. But if you're not expecting it, they can take you out pretty easily. So people are going to have to get good at adjusting their aim, not just to shoot someone using them, but also to be able to quickly roll and duck over and hit somebody else. So I thought that was a really awesome weapon. And the other, what are we using? The Aerospray. Man, I'm so focused on the new ones that I forgot what we're even using here. But yeah, the Dualies are going to bring a whole new dimension of combat style, I'm thinking. But at the same time, they don't feel overpowered or anything. They're close range. They're not the best thing in the world. But I think they are kind of the shooter weapon that might appeal to me more, being someone who uses close range stuff like the brushes. And I'm really excited that they added another, you know, close range shooter, almost like the Junior. I think a lot of people are going to be using them, not just because they're new, but also because they have a nice niche of being able to actually survive a little longer. It's almost like a rogue sort of thing, and if you're going to with an RPG perspective where you're quicker but maybe more vulnerable in some ways because you can't use a farther range shot. And at the same time, oop, thought I saw someone there. They're gone. Oh, where are they? They're getting sniped over here. But yeah, the Dualies have a sub-weapon that's right there. It's the suction bomb. So it's an old sub-weapon. Some of the subs, like I mentioned, returning. But it really seems like all the specials are going to be new. I think they did say that because, yeah, they got to rebalance stuff a little bit. And I do like that at least one thing is almost like Pokemon going to Gen 3 or Gen 5, where it's like, okay, none of the old stuff, just for the specials. There's a bunch of other, you know, new things, or old things returning, like weapons and subs, but at the same time, I can see why they want to rebalance the specials. That's one of the hottest points of contention with this game, about whether certain specials are OP. And, but anyway, so yeah, the Dualies have a suction bomb, but they have a new special as well, of course, and it is the, oop, somebody's gonna, yeah, they're too alert to be able to get hit by me going in as the Kraken. These guys are S and S+. So the special on the Dualies is the Inkjet, which is a nice little, you know, like the printer, but it's a jetpack. And this is like a revamped Inkzooka. You fly up in the air, and you are hovering over everything. You're flying with jets of ink, of course, it's the Inkjet. And when you're flying, you shoot out these blaster-like shots that are very powerful, and they seem to be one-hit KOs, because, yeah, as long as you're hitting somebody close to them, you should take them out, almost like the force of a bomb. And definitely something that you don't want to be around. Oh, I tried to get them there, but that wasn't going to work out. Trying to go for whoever the sniper is, but there, yeah. You guys are too good for me to beat when I'm trying to talk about new stuff. So yeah, or old stuff. But yeah, the Inkjet, you fly up in the air, you shoot these blasts, so you get maybe like 6 or 7 off before it runs out, and then you have to land. But the way that you do it is you fly up in the air, almost like a super jump, and you land where you started your ascent, in, you know, where you started jetting around. And if that gets covered with enemy ink, they did think about this, if that spot is covered in enemy ink, then you go to the closest spot near there with your own ink, unless you're already about to land. And it, you know, I did see some cases where the ink was like freshly covered right as you were landing. That case, you know, they couldn't calculate it. But once your jump starts at the end of the special, you will land in a safe zone, most likely, so that people don't see where you started your Inkjet and just stand there waiting for you to land. And this special, you actually are pretty vulnerable when you use it, because you're flying in the air, you're a big target. And it is a little strange to get used to, because you only fly above the ground that you're on. And by that, I mean you have to be at a level of terrain like above where you are, but just so, like you're hovering above. So if you're on like a high piece of terrain hovering, and you go down to like a low part, like say like Urchin Underpass, that little dip in the center, if you were to fly over that, then you would go way down and dip low, because it's based on the ground that you're on. So you're not going to be able to get above where you would normally be. You know what I mean? It's like a bit above the ground, but it goes with the terrain level. And the reason for that, I'm pretty sure, is that otherwise you'd be able to get into enemy spawn points. Like you'd be able to go over walls that you're not supposed to be able to with the like guards and stuff. And I think they're trying to limit that, but also give you the ability to fly around and be cool and shoot these bomb stuff at things. So yeah, the Inkjet, Stingray, Splashdown, and tentative titled Tenta missiles. That'll probably change. I was saying maybe the Octillery. I know that's a Pokemon, but I like, you know, Octillery is a, you know, octopus, but then there's up to 16 missiles from that thing. If you target a whole squad, you can wipe them out with 4 missiles apiece. So I thought that was it might be a good name, but who knows what they'll end up with in the end when it comes out this summer. I didn't mention this game, you know, Splatoon 2 is already going to be out this summer in, you know, about 2, it might even launch exactly 2 years after this game came out. We'll see when the release date is. But yeah, it seems like it's gonna fit in nicely with the story and the fact that the area, you know, what they're going for is a real-time setup with how long it's been since the first game. Ooh, try to be careful here, but at the same time, jump in if I need to. Where did he go? Oh, I landed on him and he comically like ran away right at the end. I gotta be careful because I got a tracker on me. But yeah, so just to recap some of that stuff, you know, at least, yeah, there's going to be more new weapon sets, I'm sure. This was just a demo version with only 4 sets, just like with the test fire, only a little bit to try out. But they're going to have tons of stuff and tons of, you know, old weapons returning. Probably all the old sets, I'm guessing. And I'm also thinking maybe the old maps. I don't know if they necessarily are going to use all the old maps, but they did confirm at least some of the new maps returning because the trailer, the Switch presentation, this is a horrible spot for me to be in. The Switch presentation did show, and I'm getting tracked, did show Moray Towers. And the difference that, if you guys noticed, the ink lines from single player are making an appearance. Man, they just locked that down with their snipers. I need to balance these teams if I can remember who uses a charger, because the charger players are just ferocious. So there's ink lines on the new version of Moray Towers, and you can use those to get around from different vantage points. I think that's going to stop people from locking down the lower parts by staying up on the top too much, is my reasoning why. Otherwise, you know, they just want to revamp the old maps and make them have interesting features, I'm sure. But at the same time, I think that's cool that they're adding new stuff to the old maps and rebalancing them, like I kind of predicted they would do, like with Urchin Underpass. They revamped that whole map in the middle of this game, you know, being popular and having all the, you know, it's still popular, obviously. We're getting so many people in here playing. But yeah, Urchin Underpass had that whole reconstruction in the middle of right after the game came out, and they redid it to rebalance it. I think they're going to do that with a ton of these maps, make them more viable for the different modes and everything. And so let's see here. We're doing Splat Zones. That was over so fast. So they're rebalancing Moray Towers. I saw, if you notice, there's another new map that is a concert venue, like a stage. I saw that in the trailer. That looked really interesting. There was a mysterious shot of Marie, like, turned away from the camera looking sad. I almost wonder if, like, Callie and Marie are gonna break up, and and there's gonna be some storyline with them where they need to get the band back together or get the agents back together. Lots of little hints at stuff. I couldn't tell if it was Krusty Sean, the shoe dealer, who had a food truck, or just another shrimp. There was a lot of different amoeba and different new characters, but of some of the same races and species that we've seen in this game. I mentioned Inkopolis Square is the new plaza, and it looks like it's got the big screens like Times Square in Manhattan and everything, and lots of new stuff in terms of clothes and setting and style. Look at all those legendary cappers. But yeah, so I think that is the main bulk of the new things that I wanted to mention, because again, it was limited to 1 map, 4 sets. I said, yeah, the Splat Dualies, those are going to be something that I use a ton. I am just, you know, already feeling that is my go-to. But we'll, you know, who knows what other sets they're going to come up with. I wasn't sure where they were going to go with some of that stuff, but they have a lot of ideas, obviously, still, because there's so much new stuff in the sequel here. This is a turf war. I got to be careful about just staying in one spot. And, oh, get out of here. Right at the last moment, I think right after I got off the ground, I turned back into a squid from a kraken. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of other things I wanted to mention. Oh, they didn't show it, I don't think, at all, even on the treehouse, but there is word of a spectator mode, which is going to be great. We can do real, actual tournaments on the channel with you guys. So I am playing, you know, if you have never seen a Splaturday Night Live, I am playing with real people right now that are, well, obviously, but real people watching or that watch the channel. These are all viewers that I've added, and they're all really, really good, as usual. But yeah, so they're going to add a spectator mode. I don't think they had any chance to show that. They said that it couldn't be filmed, so maybe I thought they were going to have somebody on the treehouse show it, but they did mention they didn't want people filming the spectator mode and everything, but I'm pretty sure it was announced somewhere, so there's, you know, that info is out there. I did see that it was out there before I mentioned it. I didn't want to break any stories, but But yeah, the spectator mode is going to be amazing for competitive Splatoon. If you guys watched the original Switch trailer, they were big on showing, like, the first shots of Splatoon were these teams playing it with a competitive setup, like, in an arena, trying to showcase it. Man, everyone just zipping away as soon as I get over there. I'm not too worried about how I'm playing because I have not played in a month outside of playing the sequel. And I am so rusty in playing against S+ players that, you know, I don't have the pride to feel like I should be doing that good against these guys. Whoa! I'm out of here, though. Hey, buddy. He's going to turn around and get us. Ah! Okay, good. I finally got somebody there. This is Turf Wars, though, but they are spawn camping us, so I got to take them out. But yeah, lots of stuff in the balancing of the subs or the specials and things that I saw that seemed like they were really going for trying to make sure people... Ooh, I thought I would have gotten him there. Nope. I thought I had the bomb on the other set, but that was a beacon, obviously. So I think they're doing a lot to really make sure the maps that they're making and the maps that they're rebalancing and the sets that they're setting, you know, they're adding to the game and changing up are all trying to gear towards making sure the game is not lopsided, not like this, not getting spawn cammed, and not, you know, the Bubbler and Kraken, as much as I love the Kraken, probably will not return, and I doubt we're gonna see some of the same stuff. Well, we lost somebody, so I don't feel too bad about that. But yeah, some of the same tactics and things that really dominate the ranked and competitive scene of this game are going to be rebalanced and changed, so I'm excited about that. You know, we want to have a fair match. But so yeah, there we go. I think that's most of my thoughts on Splatoon 2. I did play a handful of matches. I mostly played with the Splat Dualies, but I did a couple matches with the Splatter Shot, the Splat Roller, and the Charger. And while we're loading a map here, okay, let me get to the chat. I'm going to answer questions. Doesn't have to be about Splatoon 2, but I will answer questions you guys have. I'm just kind of picking whatever map pops up here and sorting the modes out. But yeah, so if you guys got questions, let me know. I did play a bunch of other stuff. I played Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 1-2 Switch, ARMS. I have a lot to say about ARMS as well, the new fighting game, because it really feels like it's taken some cues in a good, you know, a really good way from this game, and having a new setup, a new franchise, you know, of hopefully it'll be successful because it scratches a lot of itches of things that I really enjoy. Boxing, and it's like Big Hero 6 with these crazy boxing arms. Okay, so Alexander wants to know, am I buy the red-blue Switch or the basic? So the Joy-Cons, the little controllers on the Switch, there's a basic set that's gray that they showed originally, but they did show these neon red and blue ones. I reserved those because I do really like them. I think the color, some people are bothered by the different color scheme of having the red and blue clashing. I think they're selling other sets that are together the same color, so you can get those as well if you're really bothered by that sort of thing. But I like the two contrasting ones, and it's like player 1 and player 2, like you'd get a red and blue setup in Mario or Mario Party or something. So I think that's a nice look to it. That's the one that I pre-ordered. I'm going to try to get it day of release, you know, pick it up on the release date so that I can have videos to you guys as soon as possible. I'm not getting it shipped or anything. And hopefully, ooh, there we go. Somebody's defending me good. I think I might have a better team this time. No offense to, you know, the teams might be more balanced is what I should say. I'm going to try to make sure I am getting my Inkzuka ready here because I want to cover anyone on the way. Probably should have popped it a little later so that anyone on that ramp would not get us, but it looks like big old booyah from the team. There we go. Man, that was crazy. Okay, so questions here. I was just playing there. Controller comfortable. Kai, oh, I need to talk about this. So, the controller, I played a little bit with the Switch itself, the screen with the Joy-Cons on the side, because when I went to play the game originally, the Treehouse was streaming. They've kind of locked down the one side with the TVs, and that was all taken over for a good 20 minutes to a half hour, so I wasn't able to play on those. I played on the tablet, you know, the Switch version of it with the screen and the Joy-Cons locked in. That looks a lot like the Wii U, but that's the whole, you know, the system is built into there. That has more heft heft. It's got more weight, but I liked that. The Wii U gamepad can sometimes feel a little, not flimsy, but the plastic on it, like, it doesn't feel like it's got as much weight to it to turn. I did like holding the actual portable version of the Switch, and my complaints, though, what are we going to do here? Let me switch to... Let's just try another map here. I'm not going to worry too much about how I'm playing. But my complaint with the Joy-Cons, the portable version, now there are grips that you can get on it to hold it better. I have big hands. I'm a big-handed, gangly gamer guy, and I was not able to hold it as well as I would want it, because it is a little smaller. I almost wonder if it's built for smaller hands than mine, but at the same time, they have these grips to make it more comfortable. But this is just the portable version, because they want it to be compact to take with you. And my one complaint with that is that the buttons were a bit smaller than the Wii U and the Switch Pro controller, which I'll get into in a second. But because the sticks and the buttons felt a little smaller, a little easier to press in, I was playing with the Splat roller. I kept accidentally clicking the right stick in for the camera, and using my Splashdown, doing my my slam attack without meaning to. So it felt like that would take some getting used to. At the same time, I didn't have too many matches with the portable one to get a good feel of that, and get used to it, because I wanted to play the gaming anole says the Wii U gamepad's extremely durable. Yeah, it's pretty durable, but it does feel a little less hefty. It doesn't feel like it quite gives as much when you're turning it. It feels like it's too easy to like accidentally turn too far, as I'm doing now. No, I don't know. I'm not knocking the Wii U gamepad. I just feel like the Switch is a little bit more comfy for using gyro stuff for Splatoon especially. But yeah, so the thing about the Joy-Cons was that it felt like I didn't have enough time to adjust, and I really wanted to get footage of... I did record videos, like I mentioned. I'm going to have footage. I'm going to try to get these out tomorrow, but have videos for Zelda and Splatoon, because I've got both of those. A bunch of Splatoon footage, for sure. I took out that Rainmaker. A bunch of Splatoon footage, and you guys will see me playing with just the portable mode, but also mostly with the Pro Controller. And the Pro Controller, that was... when I picked that up to play on the TV, I was like, this controller feels made for my hands. It was the most form-fitting, comfortable controller I've used. It felt a lot like the PS4 controller. Like, it had some of the same... the PS4 controller I really like. It does feel very comfortable, so I'm not knocking that either, but at the same time, the Pro Controller on the Switch just really felt like it curved a little better with my hands compared to... I couldn't tell if that was on my team at first. It curved a little better to feel like I could really get in there and hold it well, whereas the PS4, that kind of feels like it still is a little flat on the bottom and it doesn't really fit as well with your hands when you're trying to make sure you're grabbing onto it good, and especially when you're swinging it around, trying to use motion control or gyro stuff to aim. And that was another big thing that I noticed, both with the portable mode on the Switch, but also with the I saw you there, but I ran out of ink. The other thing with the I can't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, the gyro. Yeah. So the gyro controls for motion. It wasn't just the different feel, it was also the fact that it felt more precise. I feel like the gyro controls have come a long way from the Wii U already, and the motion controls I'll get into with other games if you guys want to hear about it, but anything that involved motion, it felt way more precise and better than the Wii or the Wii Motion Plus. It's been years since those were released, and it did feel like there's been a lot of improvements in that sort of thing, so it was nice feeling like this stuff is even more accurate. I felt like I could do so much better when I was playing the Switch version, and I hadn't played, like I mentioned, I hadn't played for a month, but I still felt like I was doing pretty well, better than I'm doing now. At aiming, like, it did feel like it was a lot easier to use the gyro to aim around than on this one, which you would expect from a sequel, improvements to controls and hammering that stuff out to really make it feel like it is worthy of the 2 title in the name. So anyways, and then the other thing, so there's the Switch has advanced haptic feedback, which I had never really heard of, but it's basically like better more precise rumble, and that was, everyone's just hiding, knowing where I'm going, and making me look bad. No, I gotta really step up my game here if I'm gonna compete with any of these guys, but talking makes my squidding, inking brain not work as well. So yeah, the big thing with the feedback, this seems like something that wouldn't be that important. Oh, that's a good guy. Let's go in the opposite direction. It seems like the rumble wouldn't be that important, but I noticed some cool stuff like immediately. So the haptic feedback, they talked about it in the presentation with the ice cubes and the glass. It was a little hard to wrap your head around, but when you actually feel the if you actually, feel the rumble, I was able to, so like a good example, this was something that happened immediately. I threw a splat bomb out, and I felt where it landed, or it was an enemy splat bomb. I felt where it landed based on the feedback in the controller, and it was crazy. It was like the, oh, there they are, trying to get them. I don't think I have enough range to actually hit them there, and I'm gonna fall, aren't I? Ooh, nope. So yeah, the feedback, like the feedback in it, it's like a more advanced rumble that actually, it's very hard to explain without feeling it, but that other game that they showed, 1-2 Switch, was a good job of showing it off, but Splatoon was like, I wish they had used this as an example for why you would want that much, because you could tell where stuff was around you based on the intensity and location of the rumble in your hands. It was really odd to get used to. And, trying to get somebody at the last second here. They're not gonna fall for it. Maybe I can get someone. Nope. So yeah, it was very strange being like, whoa, I felt like that bomb landed over to the left. Like, it was bizarre, but at the same time, I feel like that's something, that's in the Pro Controller as well, but I feel like that's something that people are going to be able to sense when someone is doing something around them or launching something at them without looking. So it's going to make like a very quick twitched sort of reaction speed to things after you play for a bit. So I thought that was really cool. That's in the Pro Controller as well. And so that was the one that I played the most on. I played a ton of the games on that, including Zelda. And I really like that. So, as far as the portable mode goes, you can get, have the grips and stuff if you have bigger hands, but I really liked the Pro Controller. But you could still, use the kickstand thing and play it off of that. You don't have to use the Joy-Cons if you're playing it portably. So yeah, that was a big thing. I went way too much into the controllers. Okay, let me check out other questions here. Oh wait, I didn't mean to go into ranked. I was just going to go into Turf Wars and let people join, but also get some randos in here that maybe aren't as crazy skilled, so I can do a little better. I hate when I do these streams and I'm trying to talk about stuff that people maybe want to hear about, but then my play is horrible, and I'm not blaming, the people that are joining, because I can't, I want you guys to play as well as you're going to play, but at the same time, I don't play this game that often anymore, and I cannot keep up with a lot of you. I need more practice, but that's good reason to keep doing these streams each weekend as we build up to the Switch coming out and Splatoon 2 launching in the summer. Okay, a couple people asking about the online service stuff, so I gotta, touch on that. So Nintendo announced that they will be, I should have switched my weapon before I jumped in here, I didn't think about it. So Nintendo announced that Switch is going to have, starting in March, online services for free until the fall, when they revamp the way that it's going to work. I think they're adding a bunch of online stuff like chat and different things, and that is going to launch in the fall. It's probably not ready to go yet, but part of that is like they want to give people a trial period to try out the online services, and then they're going to start charging for them, which Nintendo has not really done before. But at the same time, every other gaming company at this point charges. I think a lot of people blame Xbox for that, and I don't mean to call anybody out, but PlayStation, I don't think, used to charge for online services, and then Sony saw that Microsoft was charging for Xbox Live and having these memberships, and they're like, okay, let's get PlayStation Plus going. Let's start getting people to have to play. I paid for PlayStation Plus for a while to play Bloodborne online and different games and stuff. I was playing Metal Gear Solid 5, but yeah, it was one of those things where once you see your competitor able to make money at it, you want to do it too, and I think Nintendo's kind of doing the same thing. At the same time, you know, I do think their stuff, they've done online, you know, not the best compared to some of the other companies. They have a little trouble grasping certain things, or they have had in the past, but at the same time, I am glad that they are adding more and more stuff to make online, you know, like this game is a good example. They did a lot to step forward into the world of competitive, you know, online stuff. This game, if you got a decent internet connection at least, I don't want to speak for everybody, but it does play really well, and the connection's usually pretty stable. I only think it's going to get better from here on out as the developers get more used to how to, you know, set this stuff up. So I am very excited that they are embracing the online world more, but at the same time, you know, it is a little unfortunate if you're younger or you don't have the extra funds to pay for the online, that you might have to do that to fully enjoy certain games, especially this one, because this is a big online game. You know, most of this game is online, at least for the first one. Now, the sequel, they might have enough time to have a ton of single-player stuff, more than they've had with this one. We'll have to see with that if that's actually going to be the case. They are doing a single-player campaign. I did see some stuff about that, and you know, they teased it a little bit in the trailer. I didn't get to play any of that. You know, I just played the demo, what you guys might have seen on the treehouse and in the footage that I'll post tomorrow. But yeah, so they're gonna have single player. They're gonna have stuff that's offline, I'm sure. And I'm pretty sure with the Switch, with the fact that you can take it places and, you know, play with people, they're probably gonna have. I've heard the rumor is a one-on-one online mode that is gonna be a bit more, definitely better than the Battle Dojo, where you're gonna be able to play fully online, you know, with somebody, maybe split screen and do a full match with, I think the idea with that is that you could switch different weapons within matches, so it might have different rules. But it looked interesting, like we had a level 6 that was having a tough time with everybody else. But yeah, so the online stuff, I think I'm a little mixed on having to pay for it. At the same time, I do like they're giving us this grace period where we can try it out for the first, you know, half a year before, you know, we'll have several months with Splatoon, at least 2, without it being a paid thing. But we'll have to see. Yeah, they're trying to make the console appeal to a wide range of people, but at the same time, not everyone's going to be able to pay for an online service, so it's a little mixed. But at the same time, I think it'll be worth it. We'll see, but they're going to have different stuff like Mario Kart and Splatoon and things that'll be making it worth it to have an online setup. So, anyways. Oh, the other thing that they said for most games it'll probably be pay, I think. But the other thing that is a bonus, they're gonna do a thing where every month they have a free game. Either, I think it's like an NES or SNES game, like you get a Legacy Virtual Console sort of game to play, but they're gonna make all these SNES games have online play to encourage you to download it and play it online. And like Street Fighter, that sort of thing, like playing older games but also having an online component. So yeah, no, someone, Uncle03 said in the chat that no one ever said they would specifically charge for Splatoon. They said most games. So yeah, I would imagine if it's a blanket online service like PlayStation Plus or something, that most games that have an online thing will probably be associated with that. You would have one. I don't think you're paying for like Splatoon and you're paying for a service where you get to do all of that stuff online. And it'll probably be pretty cheap a month. I don't imagine it being that expensive. But at the same time, you know, servers to play games, all this stuff does cost money for the company, so they want to be able to recoup some of that. And, you know, they haven't charged for that in the past, so I do appreciate that we've had up to this point. But at the same time, if they're going to keep improving all these online games, they're going to have tons of people playing Splatoon online, then it is nice that... Ooh, should have got that cracking going. It is, let's not necessarily nice, but I think if they're going to have more money from us playing it, and you know, charging for it, they can make it better than what it's been and improve a lot of that stuff. So I think it'll be a good thing in the long run. It's just something that we're used to not having to deal with, and then yeah, it's a change, and people don't necessarily warm up too well to that sort of thing when you've gotten something for free and then they want to charge it. But I think they're probably going to elevate their online stuff to match that setup to where it is worth paying for. There we go. I think we're in a turf war still here. I'm just so distracted by trying to answer your questions fully that I forgot what mode and stuff we're in. I'm glad to go back to the brushes, though. I feel like I'm doing better. And getting to play with some people that might not all be S+, makes it feel like I'm doing a little better that way as well. So anyways, I think we probably have more people playing this weekend because of the excitement about the sequel. People want to get ready for the sequel and train. I know I do. I talked to Zach a bit. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to say this is definitely going to happen, but I talked to him a bit, and I said, hey, you know, we kept planning on playing Splatoon together when the first one was out, but maybe we should do a thing where we train to try to get ready for the second one by playing together in this game a bit. So maybe I will try to set up something pretty soon here to play with Zach and get him on these and have dual commentary together. That could be cool if you guys are interested. Definitely let me know. If I don't, you know, manage to see your comments when I'm playing or whatever, you can talk to me on Twitter. That is my main way of talking to people more one-on-one and directly if you've got a Twitter. It's at SwimmingBird941. So anyways, I was posting a ton. If you want to see a ton of pictures and weird stuff from the funny stuff from the Switch presentation and the ensuing event that I got to play this stuff, check out that too, because I posted a bunch of pictures there that you guys can see and some of my thoughts, but I'll get into more of this stuff as we go along too. And yeah, I've mostly focused on Splatoon tonight, but I do want to talk about some of the other stuff that I played that I'm very strongly feeling about, like ARMS and Zelda and everything. Zelda will get its own video. I can only post 10 minutes of footage for Splatoon 2, but I'll try to sum up my thoughts in there by showing you a bunch of my matches that I played. Anyways, okay. So, yeah, back to questions. I want to focus on that. Let me see how long we've been going. Over an hour. I'll go a bit longer here, because this is a special occasion. It's a Splatterday night. It's the return. I'm going to try to, you know, keep these going again. I had a bit of a break there for the holidays. There was some new stuff that came out, new games that I wanted to focus on. And my big thing, though, is the Wii U games that I still have going. Not just, you know, Splatoon and Smash Brothers. I want to keep playing those just because they're fun. But really, Paper Mario Color Splash and Zelda Twilight Princess HD, I want to wrap those up before the Switch comes out because, you know, once we move over to the Switch, I might not go back to the Wii U as often. Maybe we'll still do Splatoon because I want to keep... I don't want to have March to summer without playing Splatoon at all and then jump into Splatoon 2 and be like, oh man, gotta shake off the rusty ink to get into this. So we'll probably still keep playing this game, but I'm gonna try to focus on the new games on the Switch, so I want to wrap up a ton of stuff, so I'll do my best to... did someone get a bunch of connection errors, they said? Playing turf? I wonder if there's just an influx of people again that they might not be used to since the, yeah. People have been playing this game since launch continuously, even without content updates. I think there's still a ton of people playing. We jumped in there, we didn't have any trouble getting a match, so I think there were tons of people still playing. I'm glad this is still an active game, and it'll probably continue to be so even after Splatoon 2 comes out. Let's go back into private matches, though. Okay. Anything about the Octolings in Splatoon 2, Adams, the symbiotic agent of carnage? So we did see the Octarians. I didn't spot any Octolings specifically, so I think it's probably pretty safe to say the Octolings are going to pop up. I still would love to see like a rival story mode where you play as the Octoling side, if we don't get to play with them in general. But it is nice that in this game you don't have that many customization options. You can be a squid, you can be a kid, no, you can be a boy or girl, you can have the one hairstyle each. You get all the clothes and stuff and the weapons to be more unique looking, but at the same time, it was a little unfortunate that we couldn't do that much to change our character outside of skin tone, eye color, and gender. But the cool thing with the sequel is that you guys probably saw there's hairstyles as well as pants. I'm pretty sure we're getting. It looked like we got pant. Or wait, what was it? It was pants. Yeah, I was gonna say pants. It reminded me of Animal Crossing, where it was like, okay, they're adding some of this stuff that because the developers used to work on Animal Crossing, I think they are. They're trying to add some of the same stuff to make it more unique. But yeah, I don't know if the Octolings will be playable. I'm sure the developers heard the wave of people wanting the Octolings playable. So I'm kind of thinking maybe the single player might have multiple campaigns or something. I would love to see the other side of the coin, the other side of the flipped world with the Octarians. Like, they're very sympathetic in a lot of ways if you look at their side of things. So, okay, get all those sunken sea scrolls, and you get to see a little bit of their story. So Callie and Marie, Callie and Marie in the game, says Jason. Marie definitely is. She was shown in the trailer in kind of a more casual, traditional-looking set of clothing. And I do wonder, with the way she was like at sunset, kind of looking mournful, if we're gonna have like a weird, like I mentioned, maybe a breakup between the Squid sisters, maybe something's going down. Callie was killed in battle. No, I doubt they would do that. They're very popular. Speaking of popular, Splatoon, I didn't mention Mario Kart at all, but the Inklings are in the Inklings are in Smash Brothers, or not Smash. Oh, I wish. They probably will be. I didn't mean. Sorry, slip of the tongue there. I hope that they get in Smash. They're in Mario Kart, as people expected, and we'll see. I heard that we'll probably get a Smash announcement sometime here after the launch stuff dies down. But yeah, so the Inklings are in Mario Kart Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is an enhanced port, and they did confirm. No, if you were still having doubts or suspicions, Splatoon 2 is a full sequel. Mario Kart is a port, though. Some people were wondering, is Splatoon 2 going to be a port? I thought I had my Kraken. Now I've got my Kraken. Some people were wondering if Splatoon 2 was going to be a port or a sequel, and it is definitely a sequel. Mario Kart is more of an enhanced port. Definitely, I did get to play that too, and that definitely looks that much better, even though it was already amazing looking. Mario Kart's one of the best looking Wii U games, I believe. I got to, actually, when we were in New York City, I went to the Nintendo, New York store. I've been there before for some Dragon Quest stuff years ago, but I got to go to the store, and they have a huge screen with Mario Kart where you can play in front of all the people, watching there. And that was really cool to see, because it was the Wii U version, and it looked amazing on this giant screen. Even though it was like blown up to be on this huge screen, it still looked like crazy crisp. So I am excited for just how good the Switch version is going to look. And they did say with that, there's new, I'm pretty sure they confirmed new tracks now. I didn't see any new actual, racing tracks. But I did see the battle mode. So the battle mode is the big thing with Mario Kart. And one of the cool things, so I wanted to stick mostly to Splatoon stuff, but the Inklings are in there. There are 3 different options for the Inklings per Inkling, kind of like the, what was the other one that had the different options for, oh, the Villager had male and female, but the Inklings do one better than that. They've got male and female, as well as a bunch of different styles. They each have 3 different ink colors for their hair, and they have different skin tone options, so you can be different looking Inklings. Jeez, they were all grouped up there. I think we got this one. Oh no, we got a huge deficit though to make up for. So yeah, there's 3 different Inklings. If I remember right, it was like purple, cyan, and blue haired for the boy, and then I think it was like pink and orange and green for the Inkling girl. Drop that down, if I can lure him into it. So yeah, different colors for them, and there were 2 cars for the Inkling specifically. There was the Splat buggy, which was, it kind of looked, it wasn't too different looking from some of the other carts, but it had like an ink tank on the back. And then there is, I think it's called the Ink Striker. It was, there's a couple Ink Strikes going right now. It was an Ink Strike missile that you ride on, like riding this crazy missile into battle. And that was really cool looking. I got to try the Splat buggy. I did play, ooh, the lag there. He caught up eventually. I wonder if I'm going to get killed from the, the delay. He was going so fast, if you guys saw, when he kind of caught up with the latency of it. But yeah, so 2 Splatoon vehicles, 2 Splatoon riders in Mario Kart. The other Mario Kart characters, we got Dry Bones. There was Dry Bones, there was Bowser Jr. Finally, Bowser Jr. got in there after all the Koopalings. And King Boo, and I think those were it. There were those 5 new ones. There might be more. We're not. That game actually comes out, I think, April 28th, so it's not too far. I feel like it's done, but they held it off because they wanted to space it out and not have it too many, stuff to compete for launch titles. But at the same time, I'm anxious to play that again. I was very worried that I was going to have a very rough time getting back into Mario Kart after having not played that for a very long time. I can't remember the last time we played Mario Kart on the channel, but I was able to jump into it, and it was like riding a bike. And the big thing with that is the battle mode. They've revamped the battle mode. It's not just tracks where you go around and try to find someone. It is so much better. It's the, old style battle mode in a lot of ways. There's more modes that they haven't announced for it yet, but there was a bomb battle, where you rack up bombs, try to get points. There was a normal balloon battle, I believe, and definitely some cool arenas. The one I got to play on was Super Mario Kart, like the original one with the little walls, so it was pretty bare bones, but it looked really good in 3D, just like the old SNES courses updated for Mario Kart 8. And there were 2 new weapons, which I actually didn't get to try because I was playing the bomb mode where it's only bombs. But the 2 new weapons were the Feather and the Boo. The Feather returned, and that is going to be very useful. I'm not sure if it'll be in the racing mode, but in battle mode, the Feather, if it makes you jump, so you can jump over walls. So that definitely worked really good in the little track from or the battle mode from Super Mario Kart, because the walls were low enough where you could jump them, and there's probably more walls like that in some of the newer courses as well. But yeah, the Feather lets you jump, but the added feature, I knew there had to be an added one, or they wouldn't have added it back. You can jump into people with balloons in battle mode and steal their balloons out of the air. You like jump through the, just when you're near someone, you use it to jump. I'm guessing it'll have multiple uses and not just one. But yeah, seeing the Feather come back, that is really cool, because that's such an old, from the first game. It hasn't been around in a while. And then the Boo, I don't think it steals items like in Mario Kart 64. It actually makes you invisible, and I think invincible. You might not be invincible, but you become, a paler shade. You lose your visibility for yourself, but I don't think anyone can see you, so you can sneak around, which is cool. But yeah, the battle mode, I'm playing Urchin Underpass here because the other Splatoon thing, not just the carts and the Inklings, but there's a new map, and it's Urchin Underpass. And it was bizarre to actually play on Urchin Underpass in Mario Kart because they really did it up proper. It looks like Urchin Underpass. It's huge, though. They blew it up. It makes the Mario Kart characters seem like Kirby or Olimar, where we're like really tiny in real life. We're so small compared to this huge, same map as this, basically, but just so huge, so you have more room, like stretched out for you to have room to run around. But it looks really good. There's like spots of ink on the ground, and it plays the Splat Attack song, the theme for Splatoon, and then in the last minute of the battle, it plays the last minute song, so it's like a love letter, just like the other Mario Kart tracks that reference other Nintendo stuff. It was a love letter to, what are we, Rainmaker? It was a love letter to this game, and I really enjoyed seeing that. I watched that on the Treehouse Live, because I didn't get to play that one. It was randomized which courses and stuff you got there in their bubbler, but I'm trying to make sure I'm getting whoever's around here. Let's see if I can zip around enough to. I don't want to show myself, because they're going to get me. If I do, threw that bomb out there, but didn't get anybody. So yeah, the Urchin Underpass battle course looks really cool. I don't know if, so that's the thing. I've heard rumors that there was like 16 new tracks. Didn't get to see any new racing cups. I played one race, and it was on the Wild Woods level from the Animal Crossing Cup. At first I was like, Wild World? Animal Crossing? Another Animal Crossing? No. But it was the one with the water and lily pads, and, we played that when the DLC came out, so it was a familiar course, but nothing too new there. I did play as the Inkling on that, so that was fun. When you do tricks and jump, the Inkling turns into a squid, which is cool. And let's see if I can get in here and chase after anybody who's hiding out. Well, that's not gonna work. And nope. That's my big gripe with the bubbler. I could hit him. If the Kraken were fighting the bubbler could still keep you away. So yeah, the Inkling, yeah, they do that little transformation when they jump. They got great little, voice acting, little dialogue. It's all very accurate, of course. And but yeah, the focus is definitely on making sure people are happy with the battle mode, because that was the one big gripe people had with Mario Kart 8, was that the battle mode just didn't cut it compared to some of the older games. So they brought that back with new modes that they haven't really shown, but a lot of returning stuff and new courses. There's another course that's a Mario one that has a section that's like Bowser in Mario. It looks like this Mario Stadium from 8, but it has anti-gravity section in the middle that's really cool. This is on the, you can see this on the Treehouse live stream. I could link that in the description when I'm done with the stream here, but yeah, they played some of those new courses. That was really cool to see the anti-gravity integrated, so it's not just like, oh, battle mode thrown into Mario Kart 8. They used the new Mario Kart 8 mechanics in some of those maps. It didn't look like Urchin Underpass had any anti-gravity stuff, but it was really cool. The middle ramp here actually has a boost that you can use to get over, so you can fly over this part and it will boost you. You know, just cool little touches. I really liked seeing that. And I'm gonna, you know, I'm excited to play that. Battle mode definitely seems like it's gonna be that much better and more, you know, in line with what people want from a battle mode. So I'm happy about that. Jeez, what got me there? The bomb? Yep. Okay. And then they did talk about too. Yeah, Mario Kart gonna be running in 1080p and 60 frames, like even with multiple people on there, you're gonna have it run really smooth because the Switch is that much more powerful than the Wii U. And it did look really good. You know, I can't say anything bad about how the Mario Kart looked before anyways, but it looked that much better on the Switch, and it does seem like they're hammering out any of the issues people would have with playing multiplayer locally. I never really experienced that stuff because I mostly played, at most, with Danielle. I think it was a little bit less resolution when I was playing with Danielle. 2-player, if you guys remember. It's been so long. Again, you know, Mario Kart came out before Splatoon, I think, and yeah, it was, right? And I haven't played that in a while, but I'm excited to get back into that. But I wanted to mention all the Splatoon stuff at least. And the other thing with Mario Kart, there's a blooper there. Oh, I gotta, you guys gotta see the one Mario Kart art. There's official art of the Inkling girl using the blooper. Just gotta get around here. Get that guy. There we go. I'm gonna sneak up on everybody here. Yeah. All right. Finally got a couple splats there. So yeah, the official art for one of the art for the Inkling girl, she's using the blooper to shoot ink out, and I was like, this is so cool to see the blooper, the original, you know, Nintendo Squid from all the way back in Super Mario Brothers, with the new school of Squid. I just saw that little blooper Easter egg over on the side. I don't want to let my team down any more than I am, but the little part over here, if you go around, let's let them kind of go because we're pretty close. There it is, the blooper. It's right there. I should probably be helping out though. I feel bad. Don't let them get it. Nope, I think they got that. So yeah, the blooper is an item that you can use as the Inkling, so it's bizarre to see those two together. And then yeah, just a lot of cool stuff with Mario Kart. It was one of the ones that I wasn't as hyped to play because I knew it was a port, but I still thought it was really cool. Couldn't get to play normal Mario, you know, Super Mario Odyssey, but there's a ton of stuff about that everywhere. There was things playing on the screen, you know, footage playing on the screen. I got a picture on my Twitter if you want to see me and Danielle. I know a lot of people request to see us and what we actually look like. We don't take pictures that often, but there's a picture of me and Danielle with the weird Mario hat with the eyes. That I'm very excited for. It's gonna be weird to play in like that new Donk City. Donkey Kong better be in there, or I'm gonna be a little disappointed. But yeah, the new mechanics and the going around the world to these like exaggerated versions of New York and Mexico and places is gonna be really fun. So we gotta wait till we just did Rainmaker, didn't we? We gotta wait till the fall or holiday for that, but I feel like they probably have more to work on for that, so I don't think they delayed it just because they need a holiday title. Seems like they had more that they needed to do. Tower control, I should probably use something that can, where's the, yeah, I'm gonna go with this, my Octo Shot, but also take off my one helmet because I don't need that extra damage. Okay, I'm ready to go. So, yeah, the couple other games I can go into more, and I'll try to talk more about them in the future as well, but I'm gonna go to questions again here. What other games do you think will be on the Switch? So this first year actually is looking really good. I think Nintendo has learned a bit from the mistakes of the past. They are really making sure that the first year of the Switch and probably onward is gonna have a ton of really good stuff all lined up, bam, bam, bam. Like every month or every couple months we're gonna have something new that is interesting to play and not just, you know, having to rely on little indie games and stuff that are fun in their own right, but major titles coming out a lot. And the only problem is the Wii U, you know, in its last year here. If you guys noticed, obviously, not too many new titles. We had like Paper Mario Color Splash and a lot of. It was almost like a slow march for the end of the Wii U, unfortunately. So, jeez, man, they got in there. Everyone died. But yeah, they got right in there before I could even realize someone was down on the side. So yeah, the oh, that was the one thing I didn't talk about was Splatoon. I did just want to answer that question though, but I am excited for all the stuff they did announce in that first year. But I'm pretty sure we are gonna get the a few other. Oh man, I was gonna try to throw that bomb in to get behind his thing, so he went into it, but he was too quick with that. I'm pretty sure that we will, before too long, have some type of Smash announcement for Smash Brothers on the Wii U. The heavily rumored that they are aiming for maybe sometime in the summer with that, possibly, and having a an enhanced port of the Wii U version with possibly new characters. I heard like 3 new characters maybe. I hope there's a little more than that. And the Ice Climbers. This is all rumors, I should say, so we don't know about Smash if it's even going to be on the Wii U, but I would assume if they're going to port Mario Kart that they might as well put Smash on there and have it enhanced. But the rumor, you know, the Inklings, I think, speaking of Splatoon, the Inklings seem like a lock for a new character to have on the Switch version. And we got a buddy jumping right in there. Get him! That's not going to explode fast. Oh no, I got him. Okay. Ooh, we need to get down here quick and go to try to get to the tower. I hope no one's around. Nope, they are around. There they go. Ooh. Hide. Trying to throw that over, but I'm not going to get in a good spot for that, am I? Go. Whoop. I got somebody, but then I got taken out. That was rough. I got surrounded there. So... trying to think. There is stuff that I might not play on the channel, but a lot of you might be interested in coming out in the first year, like Skyrim, and, you know, playing Skyrim on the toilet, definitely a thing that a lot of people would love to do. So I think that's going to be very popular. Yeah, I think it's like the newer enhanced version of Skyrim that they're putting out. But yeah, at the same time, there is a ton of stuff that I'm going to play on the channel, including Zelda when that launches, and Mario Kart ARMS I am very excited for. I'll talk about, yeah, if somebody want to hear about that, let me know, because I got a lot of thoughts on that. We probably shouldn't go too much longer here, because I've just been talking your ears off about stuff. But yeah, let me get back to, I'll go to questions when the match is over. But I wanted to talk about the Super Jump. So, the Super Jump is very different in Splatoon 2, and the reason for that is, I also didn't mention a thing about Mario Kart, so remind me about that. The Super Jump in Splatoon 2 is different because, obviously, with the Switch, you know, you can play it on the TV, you can play it portably. They gotta have you able to do stuff without the touchscreen, because you're not always gonna have the touchscreen on the tablet, you know, there, unless you're playing portably. I think there might be some games. The one thing I'm worried about that I really don't want to see is games being only portable. Yeah, like, I really hope they don't do that where they're like, you gotta play it in portable mode so that the touchscreen works, and 720 only, you know, hard to record for me. That is my worry. My biggest concern here is, I tried to jump in there, throw the bomb, and get out of the way. Didn't have time for that. My biggest concern is if they make portable-only games. I really don't think they're gonna do that, because that seems weird. Like, why not give, if you can do it, why not have it go on the TV? So that is something I'm excited about. If you guys have been watching Paper Mario Color Splash, you know that without a Wii U gamepad that you can record on, I can't show you guys a lot of the stuff, like the cutout techniques, and it was late enough in the life of the Wii U where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna spring on a very expensive capture device just for the gamepad sort of thing. I need to get out of here. Try to get my ink up. I should get onto that tower. Somebody else is about to get on there. That should have gotten them. I don't know why it didn't. Jeez. They landed right when it exploded, too. They're right in the mix. Jeez. They had yellow hair, but I couldn't quite take them out. So yeah, the super jumping, though. Because you can't use the touch all the time, if you're playing on the TV, super jumping, you now hit the X button to see the map. That's also, you know, how you're gonna be able to see the map and see where there's turf to ink. And by doing that, the map pops up. There's a little vignette along the side. Both our bombs are like hanging out, even though they're not buddies. Jeez, getting chased down. So the super jumping, you pop a map up with X, and then you will see the whole map with all the turf, everybody moving around on your team, or the enemies if they're in your ink in real time, just like you would see on the gamepad. But obviously you can see it bigger on the TV, so it might be a little easier to get sense of it. But you pop that up, and then you hit the control pad, either down is always locked into spawn, so you can jump to the spawn point. You hit a direction, then you hit A to confirm. So it's a little weird getting used to, but so you hit down for the spawn point, and then use up, up, left, and right to find your buddies and jump to them. Depending on where they are in the map, you can use that. So I think when you get used to it, it's probably going to be pretty quick. Definitely at first, it was a lot slower than just tapping. But I think because of the imprecision of the Wii U, one thing also I'm excited about with the Switch is that I think it's got the more phone tablet-oriented touch. I can't remember what it's called, reactive, or there's a name for the touch with more advanced that is on your phone or your tablet. They're putting that on the Switch now, so the one on the Wii U is like resistive, I think, or the other one where it's not as responsive. So sometimes I'd tap with my gamer thumb that's all, it's been calloused from playing again. It's not gross, but you guys know what I mean. If you've played a lot of games, your thumb might not be as easy to detect on a touch screen, so I wouldn't be able to super jump as precise, and I like being able to see all the action on one screen. So I do kind of appreciate the, what are we doing, Turf Wars here? Maybe I'll try something like that. Oh no, definitely don't want to do that on this map. I'm gonna go with my sloshing machine. So yeah, the super jumping, having the map, everything on on the screen that you're looking at, where the battle action is gonna be a change that's gonna be rough to get used to for a lot of people. But at the same time, they found a system where super jumps still work, and you can do that. I think that's why the Ink Strike is gone, and they've revamped all the specials, because they wanted to make sure everything works without needing a touchscreen. And if you watch the trailer, there was a special, I'm assuming is a special, was shown that they didn't talk about or have playable in the demo. It was this big ink rain cloud that was like, not aiming this as good as I could. It was a big ink rain cloud that was slowly moving over a part of the map and raining down ink in this huge area, almost like a slower moving ink strike that was covering turf. It might be more useful for spreading turf. Which one? Is this Turf Wars? Yeah, it is. Speaking of turf, I have to remember what mode we're playing. But yeah, so there was this slow moving thing that was, make sure nobody's coming up the wall there. Slow moving thing that would move across the map, and we'll have to learn more about that. But I'm really curious to know how they are gonna let us do that, and whether it's gonna work without a touchscreen. It's gotta work, obviously. Ooh, got Maxi there. Traded with him. Capacitive touch is Chow Walker. Thank you. So yeah, someone was saying doubt beacons would work without the touchscreen. I think you could still do beacons as a sub-weapon. They'll probably be back, because you could do that with you're just basically directing towards the thing you want to go to by pushing those arrows. So I could see beacons still working. It might get a little hectic if you're trying to do that with other players all around. There could be a lot of things to select. I did notice I was like holding a direction and it was kind of skipping between a couple players. We'll see. The game is still in active development until the summer, so they might hash this stuff out. Yeah, it releases in the summer. They got time. And then the other cool thing is I don't think they've confirmed necessarily, but they're probably going to do Splatfest again. But also, they did say they are gonna do the content updates like they did for this game, where we're gonna get new stuff every so often. So even if it's not gonna launch with a ton of stuff, it's gonna keep getting added. I have a feeling that Splatoon 2 is gonna have way more stuff than Splatoon 1 did at launch, because 1, it felt like they wanted to get it out there and then add, there was only 5 maps and a handful of weapons at first in this game. But I have the feeling that 2 is going to have even more, because they've had more time to work on the campaign. They are building off of an existing thing in a lot of ways, so it's not as tough for them to come up, you know, they're not starting from zero. I think it'll be easier for them to develop the sequel and have more time to come up with new stuff rather than trying to lay the groundwork for something brand new and have that be understandable. Man, I miss my sloshing machine. It's been so long since I've used this. It's not the best weapon. I hope this gets improved in the new game, but at the same time, yeah, I'm really glad to try it again here. Got another splat. Okay. So there we go. But yeah, the super jumping, very, very strange to get used to the new style. Hopefully it will, it'll click with players. I think it'll probably, yeah, it's just going to take a little bit to get used to not using the touchscreen, which was very fast. But at the same time, I think it'll be good, and I liked the precision of being able to select somebody for sure. The commands, so Booyah and Come On, those have changed. The Treehouse members in their stream mentioned they thought that, you know, a lot of people communicated to them from the community. They read, you know, our thoughts and watch this type of stuff, and they heard that everyone, or a lot of people said, Come On was too vague for a command, because Come On could mean like, come on, get in there, guys, my whole team is horrible. No, that sort of thing. Or it could mean, come on to me. So they changed that. That is now this way. So when you say that, you know, it'll denote this way, like you want them to focus on what you're focusing on, or you want them to come to you. And I think that's a good change, because otherwise it might be kind of tough for people to interpret that one way or the other. So I'm glad that they changed that. And let me do this and then get my, yeah, well, that's not gonna actually let me throw that any farther though, unfortunately. I thought I had another one with Inksaver main on it. Oh, here we go. I need one with run speed up, though. I want my sort of Lucas from Mother 3 looking shirt for that. I might do, yeah, that'll be good. Okay, headphones, I like those. Looks good. Okay, jumping into it. So yeah, it's the two commands are now this way and Booyah, so we have Booyah still. Left and right on the commands just calling out don't have anything. And I wonder if they're going to add stuff. I hope they do, because I think there's room for other stuff. It could be like this way could be the one where you say, you know, which way you want to go. But there could be, like, to me, I think was the European translation of that, localization. So I think, oh yeah, this is a zone where we're going over there. The to me one was a little more clear for anyone who's been playing the European version of Splatoon. But yeah, I think they have a lot of room for other commands that they could add in there to help communicate stuff. So I would be excited to see them adding more. I think that would be good, and a lot of people have suggested stuff. At the same time, yeah, they are using all those for the super jump when you pop the map up, so they probably want people not to be too confused by what you need to push when, but it is pretty cut and dry. You use one for, you know, use those for the super jumping, but it's also a thing that you need to be using for your commands. That's a good spot, hopefully. And see if I can aim up there enough. Nope, and I missed my ride. Oh no, I didn't. I'm good, I'm good. Okay, ooh, jeez. Get another one of those walls in there. I'm in a bad spot where I should really be on the other side. This is one of those maps where you want to make sure you are up in the other side of the zone here. Oh, hey, get back here. Get back here. Oh, I shouldn't have turned around like that. Ah, couldn't hold the Kraken back. I was aiming at him. There he goes, into the drink. So yeah, I can't think of any other things that I wanted to mention about Splatoon. If you guys have more questions, I'm going to try to glance at the chat the best I can. I just saw there's a pun there, bass, for sea life stuff. I didn't mean to do that. This game is all about aquatic puns. I wanted to, yeah, I just saw someone say Captain Cuttlefish probably died. I don't know. We haven't seen him in the sequel. Maybe that's why Marie is so bad, or so sad, because that's their is it their grandfather? I'm trying to remember their relationship to him, but I do wonder, yeah, it could be like she's mourning Captain Cuttlefish, and maybe the Octarians are pressing in because they're like, oh, the war veteran is gone. DJ Octavio has broken out of the snow globe, the little globe that he's in or something. Anyways, so yeah, that would be interesting to see. Undertale Kid Pro, says, are you going to continue Dragon Quest Builders? I'd like to, but there's so much stuff going on. I don't know. I'm going to try to get back to some of that stuff, but if you've noticed, I've really been focusing on going to get Paper Mario done. I've been doing more episodes of that to try to get that game out of the way, and I want to get Twilight Princess going again. Those are my big goals as far as older series to finish before the Switch comes out, but I'm going to continue, you know, finish up Last Guardian, continue Pokemon with Danielle, now that we're both not sick anymore after the holidays. We had a long period there where we were sick and been traveling around. Just, yeah, there's been so much craziness. I think it's time to settle down a little bit and get more stuff out to you guys before the craziness of the Switch again. In March, we have like 40 days or so before that is out. It is way too soon. I thought it was going to be the mid to end of March period, but it's March 3rd that it launches, so very shortly here. Rain asks if am I going to PAX. I'm not gonna go. I've never gone to PAX, but I don't really actually travel to too many things. This Nintendo event was the first thing of its kind that I went to, and I'm very glad I did, so I should try to do more in the future. And if I can announce it to you guys ahead of time, that would be cool, because then you guys could actually maybe hang out. And yeah, this was one of those things where it was very hush-hush and not open to people and stuff, so it was like, yeah. But if I go to a normal convention, that would be cool to meet some of you guys. Symbiotic is sick as a... Yeah, this is the flu season, so get better, buddy. I'm worried that I got over being sick and then went to this event with all these people who are probably also sick and trying to go, you know, do touristy... Not touristy stuff, but, well, there were tourists there, obviously. But people trying to go do this press event that was... You couldn't... You know, there was no way to do it at a different time. This is when it was at. You had to go or not go. And I bet there was a lot of people, games journalists, YouTubers, that went there sick, and a lot of touching the same controllers and being in a very cramped space. I'm really worried I'm going to get sick again right after being sick, but I'm going to do my best to take some vitamin C, drink a lot of tea and stuff. What do you think of the new weapons, says Klaus Sid. So the new specials, I think all of them are really cool, and I'm very not surprised, but very happy that the developers were able to come up with already, just with the 4 new specials we saw, they were like coming up with new stuff. I was like, man, this is really cool. I never would have thought of this as a thing to protect you when you super jump with the Splashdown, or a thing to shoot through walls in a more, you know, focus stream than the killer whale, like concepts that are going to add a lot to the game, but I didn't necessarily, you know, think they would add at first. And but the only fully new weapon, a lot of, like I mentioned, the roller and the charger had new functions to them, new abilities, but the only new weapon fully, do I have the, yeah, this is the Nouveau, so I gotta try not to crack in on accident. But yeah, the only full new weapon was the Splat Dualies, and I mentioned when I was talking about it, I'm in love with the Splat Dualies, the dual pistols. I really am, you know, there's gonna be other new weapons, I'm sure, but I really am thinking that my brushes, I might switch over to playing a shooter weapon more often, because the Dualies just seem so fun. I love being able to dodge. There's so many situations that I get into in this game that I am not able to get out of easily, because I shouldn't have grabbed this, but, you know, what are you gonna do now? Get that guy out of there, maybe? Nope. Jeez, I thought I hit him. So much on that so much damage up on that Grim Range Blaster. So the Dualies, I was just, yeah, very impressed and excited to have this ability to dodge out of the way when I'm in close range, because that's something that all the other close range weapons kind of lack. You have to maybe get the swim or run speed up to be able to actually get, couldn't turn around because I don't have the swim speed up with this helmet. But yeah, being able to actually dodge and a lot of finesse to trying to roll around and focus. I love the cool little jets on the back. That's another thing they use to balance the Dualies, is that roll requires ink. Like, it is powered by ink, so you gotta be extra careful about wasting all your ink rolling around, because you can only do it twice in a row, but you can, once you stop and, you know, regain. There's also a little bit of a hesitation after you roll before you can move again, so if someone knows where you are, you could roll and get into a bad spot. You need to really be ready to shoot your opponent as you know, reposition with that roll, and not sit there and get destroyed. Like, if you don't take them out, they might take you out very easily, because you do have that little bit of delay before you can even move again at all. And also, the other thing I was going to say with the Dualies, because it uses the jump button to, try to, I thought there was someone around there. It uses the jump button to get you to be able to use that roll. It's the same button. You will jump normally if you're not attacking, but you will use your roll. Oh, he's behind me. Jeez, I got him. Okay. So, yeah, when you're shooting with the Splat Dualies and you hit B, you roll. If you are not shooting and you hit B, you jump, I believe. I think it's the same button for jumping. Or, I might be mistaken, actually, because X... Oh, yeah, so the jump button has changed. It's X on this, but now that the map is on X, I had to dodge that. Now that the map is on the X, the X button, they had to reassign the jump, so you gotta get used to B. B doesn't do anything right now, which is kind of strange that it's not jump already. There might be control options as well, so that would be cool to be able to rebind these to whatever you want. But yeah, so because X is the map, you need to jump with B, but it's the same button to roll with the Splat Dualies, so you have to not be shooting if you ever want to jump, and that's something that a lot of people might take a bit to get used to. Oop, where did they go? There they are. Okay, let's get out of here. We do have a good lead. I am blue. Last time I thought I had the lead, and then I realized that I was the other team. So yeah, using that roll when you need to roll, and using the jump, you know, planning that stuff out a little, making sure you're not jumping or not losing your jump ability when you really need it is going to be very important. See if we can hit whoever's over there. Oh, there. In a bad spot that I can't really hit too well. Gotta be careful now, because whatever they're using has a good amount of range. Are they using the Squelcher? Yeah, it looks like it. And they got the killer whale. They're just getting so much turf from afar, and then they are taking us out with their killer whale when we can't get around. So just in general, I wanted to say I did mention, you know, the haptic feedback and stuff, but on the Pro Controller and the Switch, you know, proper, when you're playing with the screen and everything, I did really feel like the gyro aiming was that much better. Like I mentioned, I hadn't played this game in like a month. Last time I played was the last time I streamed, so you guys can see exactly how long it's been since I played. And gonna make sure that we're just gonna try to make sure we stop them, but I couldn't get over there. Okay, good, we did it. So yeah, to sum up, I did want to mention too, yeah, the gyro controls, the aiming felt that much better, where I was able to instantly get in there. The people that they had playing, it was a lot of journalists and people that probably don't have the time to play this game constantly, so I did manage to clean up quite a bit. I think I lost like one match when I had like 14 splats on one match, but we lost that one because I think I was more focused on trying to get splats and test out the weapons than actually get the turf. And then the other match I did horrible because I brought my team down using the charger, but other than that I managed to do pretty well, not to pat myself on the back. On Twitter, I did post a picture of a little Inkling girl plush that I have now that I didn't, you know, I wasn't something that I was going to get originally. It's adorable, but they put out little plushes of the Inklings. I was given that by one of the staffers at the event because I had the highest score in my match, and I was doing pretty well. So yeah, it seems like something that even if you're rusty, even if you haven't played Splatoon in forever or you haven't played it recently, you can jump into. Just like Mario Kart, I felt like riding a bike, you get back onto it. Alexander wants to know, did you feel a difference between the Pro Controller and the Grip Controller? So I didn't actually get to try out the Grip Controller. The setups for it were Splatoon, you could use the Pro Controller, and what's the other map we haven't done? Piranha Pit. Splatoon had you could play portably with the Joy-Cons, like almost like you're holding the Wii U gamepad, or you could play with the Pro Controller on the other set. You know, they had two sets of two teams against you, you know. And so yeah, you could play that way. And then a bunch of the other games, Zelda, you could play with the Pro Controller or take it out. That was cool. They actually let me like switch between the TV, you know, like the name, pull the thing right out of there. All you have to do is pull it out. It's like, it feels weird. It's like pulling a game disc or a memory card or something out in the middle of playing. Like, it had that fear in me that you're not supposed to do it. Like, it felt forbidden. But it actually, it works amazing. Like, you just pull it out of the dock. It switches to the portable one when you want to put it back in. Bam, goes back in. It goes back on the TV. So that was cool. And but yeah, I didn't get a chance to play with the grips with the Joy-Cons. I think it'll probably feel like the Pro Controller in ways. It might not be as form-fitting, I'm guessing, but yeah, it wasn't something I got to try. And then I was talking about momentum canceling to practice. I'll have to, yeah, if you have any more tips to get me back into Splatoon and get back up to fighting shape, definitely tweet at me. Is this, yeah, we got the bombs. Okay. So yeah, those are the styles I played with Splatoon. I got to play Mario Kart with the Joy-Con, a single one, sideways, which was weird. It had the wheel, and that was very odd to use. The cool thing with the wheel was that even if you're using that with the motion, if you just kind of set it on your lat, or, you know, rest it and play, I didn't use the motion for the wheel to do any of that stuff. I just kind of set it down and moved around to get that or moved, you know, use the joystick. You can have the motion on and still use the joystick and get the game to control normally. So you can kind of switch back and forth. I know there's some Mario Kart players that I'm using motion control, you know, the thing in the lobby that everyone laughs about. But yeah, so Mario Kart, it was cool to have that option, but not have to use it. I wasn't locked in. A lot of the demos were kind of limited to whatever control style they had set up there, and I couldn't switch between them, ironically. But in the future, you know, there's all these different ways to set up how you're gonna play, and you can do whatever one you want to do. And then what other games? Not hands. That's what people are calling arms, because that's like a, you know, fighting game term. But arms, I use the 2 Joy-Cons and the motion control one set up for that. And I did the rep told me pretty quickly, because I asked when I was playing it, you can play that new arms game without motion controls. You can use a controller, and I think people were a little worried about that at first, because it did seem to revolve around the motion controls a lot, but it was one of those things where they saw that, you know, people aren't always gonna, ooh, thought I had the Kraken. They saw that people aren't always going to want to do motion control punching, obviously, or not able to. You know, they got to have it accessible to anyone that wants to play. But a lot of, you know, fighting game people probably want to have a normal control setup for that, so that is an option, which is cool. And I didn't get to try that, though, because, again, a lot of these were set with one style of controlling, and then we just had to, yeah. But I did like, speaking of arms, I do want to go into that more in depth, but it feels like too much to talk about now. But that, you know, did feel good. Like I mentioned, the motion controls and stuff feel like they're much, much improved compared to what was once, you know, on the... Jeez. He was going after his buddy, and he jumped in there. But yeah, the motion controls felt so much better. I'll talk about arms at another time. Maybe during the Smash stream. That would be a good time to talk about it, because, you know, fighting games, people like fighting games that, you know, watching fighting games probably want to hear about other fighting games. We might have gotten this one. It's going to be close. Lots of green. I think this is going to be the last match tonight, though. So yeah, the controls, yeah, I didn't get to try all the options, but I think they felt pretty good. Like I mentioned, the portable mode, I think I'd have to adjust to that a little bit. But at the same time, man, we thought we were doing good there, but... so yeah, let me just see what else we got. Any finishing questions? And I'm gonna maybe hang out in the plaza a little bit. We're not gonna... I think rather than do a match when I can't focus on the chat, let's just hang out, listen to the music, and I will answer questions for the last bit of this. Maybe the next 15 minutes or so. I'll just squid around and hang out, look at the Miiverse posts. That way I can focus on your questions and see them all, answer them more quickly instead of rambling as I try to play. There's Callie and Marie. I wonder if they're gonna get updated looks, because they're gonna be older. They're gonna be like young adults, or maybe even older than that. They're gonna be thinking about their career and where they want to go. Nino Tainet says, I hope Little Mac comes to ARMS. That was my first thought with ARMS. I was like, oh, this game seems like Punch-Out, where Punch-Out would go with a new concept, and I hope a Little Mac, or sometime maybe King Hippo would make their way into that world, because that would be a shame. It feels like spiritual successor to Punch-Out, and I'm gonna miss Little Mac if he doesn't make his way into it. What was your favorite game to play? Says GamerBoy3133. Definitely, as much as I'm excited about Zelda, and I'll go more into that when I do a Zelda video with the footage, it had to be Splatoon 2. That was what I played the most. That was what I kept coming back and playing multiple sets of matches with my spare time. There were a lot of smaller games like Puyo Puyo, Tetris, Sonic Mania, Ultra Street Fighter 2, Clipper Snips, which I should have tried that, but I didn't. Ran out of time. But I did play a bunch of Splatoon just because I wanted as much Splatoon 2 info as I could get for you guys, because I knew a lot of you guys, out there were going to be wanting to hear about this, so I played a ton of that. I wanted to play all the weapons, get as much info as I can. I watched the Treehouse stream even though it was going on. I'm in the Treehouse stream a couple times if you look. I think sometime after they do ARMS, you can see me in the upper right playing ARMS, doing my infighting boxing stance, trying to get into it. And then later, when they're filming, you watch the Splatoon segment between weapons, there's a part in the background where I come up to the rep and I'm like, hey, are they done doing the Treehouse stuff? I want to play. I was just ready to play it on the screen as soon as I could. So yeah, Splatoon 2, definitely the game that I played the most, but probably outside of maybe Zelda, the game I'm looking forward to the most, because it was just so addictive all over again to get into it and play. A sequel that felt like a sequel. It did look a lot better. Obviously, it plays similarly, but I'm very excited to get that going here. I started with the pink ink, and if you guys notice in the thumbnail, the Inkling Girl, the pink Inkling Girl and the green Inkling Boy seem to be the new mascots for 2, the new color scheme, because this one was orange and blue originally. It's very funny how the orange and blue, like the Inkling Girl and Boy, the younger ones, are getting into Mario Kart just in time, like a couple months before the new style of Inkling's debut, so they're going to be like the older ones, but at least you'll have those in maybe Smash, and I hope Smash, if they get added to that, have the new and old style. But it's funny how they're getting into Mario Kart, they're going to be this style, and then they're going to revitalize, revamp how they look right after. Okay, so let's see. How would you rate the Switch so far? I am definitely more... I was, not as into doing YouTube stuff. Like, I wasn't as deep into YouTube stuff when the Wii U came out, so I didn't get it at launch. I got it around when Pikmin 3 came out, and I do love the Wii U, but I think this is the console, even though I'm an adult, this is the console I'm the most excited for. I don't think I ever had this much excitement for something that was coming out in the past. All the other consoles I've loved a bunch of, so many consoles in my day, Nintendo and otherwise. I played a bunch of the PlayStation, every PlayStation, but I think this is the most exciting launch just because this whole year is going to have a lot of good games, and that hasn't really happened, honestly, with a lot of other Nintendo consoles. Usually you get the launch titles, and then you get some of the good stuff like down the road, but it's going to be a lot of good stuff. Let me see. Do you know anything about the new online service? They haven't said too many specifics. Like I mentioned, they're going to have games that you can get extra like each month that'll be unique only to that month, I guess. So you gotta get them when you're subscribed to that. Yeah, I think there's incentives to make it more worth your while. And like I said, I think the online's gonna improve enough, and they're paying for all these servers and stuff. So I think it's understandable that they. This is someone talking about need money. Oh, I want the Switch, but yeah. So $300 is. I think maybe someone was asking about the price too of the Switch. I think people were thinking maybe $250 to $300. It is expensive, but at the same time, is that one of my butt? Oh, hey, is that? Oh, I thought it said "Hey, Swimmy." Anyways, hello. Anyways, so there's a nice drawing of the little girl mascot with the new hairstyle. The $300 price point is kind of, it's a new console. That's around what a lot of consoles cost now, and I know it's going to be a big barrier to entry for a lot of people. But at the same time, there's so much stuff in the Switch that I don't think people knew about, like the haptic rumble and all the different features that I have to go into 1-2 Switch eventually here, because that was interesting to feel all the rumble stuff from that. But yeah, the new features and the fact that it is like a full console that is portable as well is pretty crazy, and that stuff I'm sure ain't cheap, so they're trying to recoup some of the costs, and I think that's why there's no pack-in game. 1-2 Switch seemed like it would be a pack-in game, but it's not going to be one. I don't know how that's going to go over. I'll have more thoughts on that at another time, but yeah, I think some of the little accessories are kind of expensive, but at the same time, they gotta, yeah, I think if they're selling the system for under what it costs to make it, or around what it costs to make it, they gotta make some money from somewhere, obviously, to recoup development costs and stuff. Anyways, that sort of thing. Okay, let me see. In Spike's Alley, jump on the trash can, then the vending machine. Squid through the gate. Somebody's telling me a glitch to do. Which Switch design, says Doopy Dorky. I mentioned that earlier. I got the Neon Joy-Cons. Because of motion controls, they should make a Skyward Sword port on Switch. I could see a Skyward Sword HD. I think that would work well, especially with the better Joy-Con motion stuff. There's got to be a Splatoon 2 test fire, says Nino. Yeah, that would be cool if they could do that. And that, they could stress test the new system and how many people are going to play it, but that would be a great way to get people into it. Do you think Super Mario Odyssey will come out in November or December? Probably November, unless it gets slightly delayed. They want to launch it, ideally, before Black Friday. November is the best time to do that sort of thing. It's cool that we're getting a Zelda in March, though, even though it was delayed, but I'm very excited for that. Which Splatfest did you like the most? Probably Cats vs. Dogs. That was the most exciting because that was the first one. It was just crazy to get into that. What other questions? Do you like arms better than legs or legs better than arms? Honestly, I do like... I mentioned before, I do boxing stuff for exercise and martial arts stuff, and I get into punching and stuff, so I think arms is a good title for that. It's a little strange how simple it is, but yeah. I don't know if we're going to get a legs game. Do you like Togedemaru from Pokemon? I definitely do. It's a good generation of sort of Pikachu-looking thing. Maybe not as good as Dedenne. Zodiac asks, will the price drop in December? I don't know if they're going to drop the price of the Switch anytime, but maybe before the holidays. There's so much stuff coming out before then, I'm definitely going to get it at launch. But, I think get it. If you like the launch titles, get it at launch. If not, you could probably wait a little bit for Mario Kart or Splatoon, but at the same time, there's going to be so much good stuff within the first year, I don't think you would regret getting it. Super Mario Sunshine Remake, that would be cool. Mario Odyssey is kind of a return to that sandbox form, so I could see that scratching the same itch. Will you play Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild on the channel, says Diamond Dragon? Definitely. Breath of the Wild, I'm very excited. That's part of why... One of the big reasons I got to get my backlog, especially Twilight Princess, out of the way before Breath of the Wild, because that's going to be a huge game. Let me know if you want to see Danielle play that with me, because she really wants to play, but she might play on her own and give me tips, be on episodes occasionally. Do you think it's creepy that they cut their hair by cutting their tentacles, the Starflyer animations? That is pretty weird, but I don't know. I guess they grow back really fast. Like, I think they might be able to do that in real life too, squid and octopi. But yeah, the tentacles being cut. I'm really glad that I like the new hairstyles. There's the Inkling cover girl on the new game. She's adorable. She's in the thumbnail and stuff. I think it's a lot of good new variety to customize your character. Any other story elements you'd like to see in Splatoon stuff, like the ink rails in Moray Towers? Someone just asked. Trying to think of other invisible blocks, like what other stuff in the single player haven't they added? They did add some of it with different maps. It would be cool maybe if there was a certain map where half the team is temporarily Octolings, or that would be a cool replacement for Splatfest, like a thing where you're assigned, rather than rely on popularity, what if we were randomly assigned to Inklings or Octolings? Excuse me, my voice is going a little from talking for so long. What if we were randomly assigned Inklings or Octolings, and then you had to like fight for your team to get rewards, and it was like more of a turf warfare, but like friendly? I don't know. I want to see the Octoling side, of course. Let me see. Favorite color, Christine asks. It's green for sure. You think I'll be able to get one of the neon switches with Zelda on launch date from Walmart? Says Grassboard Nerds. I pre-ordered at Walmart. I don't know if they're still up. Best Buy is where I pre-ordered because I wanted to pick it up. I usually do Amazon. I think Reggie, Nintendo of America president, mentioned there's going to be a good supply of them. I don't imagine it being like the Nintendo NES Classic Edition and being so scarce. They don't want to artificial scarcity for something like this with the Switch, where they want to sell as many as they can at launch. I don't think they would do that on purpose, at least. But who knows how popular it's going to be. There's a lot of hype for it. Oh yeah, Inklings are made of ink, says Chow Walker. Maybe they just cut their ink, you know, it's like their tentacles. They are just made of ink, now that I think about it, but they hold this form, and it's like the Tanuki and the raccoon dog and the fox. They can transform into different stuff. The Inklings are like a modern version of that, so I don't think they're hurting themselves by cutting that, because they can transform their appearance. They might even be able to just be like, just transform. I think that's part of why we can just, wrong button here. I think that's part of why we can just swap between male and female, the boy and girl Inklings, because I think that's part of it. They can just change however they want. Like, that's part of their magical properties or whatever, because they could just, yeah, do this, and now they look like this. Yeah, what was the other question? Oh, I was going to mention, so these guys say, you know, when summer comes along, say goodbye to the Tanuki and the fox, because you can come back, the Kitsune, you can come back here and see them, obviously, in Splatoon. I'm sure they're gonna, in Splatoon 1, I'm sure they're gonna support this game for a while with the online, even after 2 launches. But the new plaza, Inkopolis Square, the Times Square one, if you saw a picture of it, it has a tortoise, or like a turtle on the side, and a paper crane, like a origami bird, are the 2 new mascots on the side. I can't say I like them better than the cute Tanuki and the, Kitsune. I'm gonna miss this guy if he doesn't return. The giant overlord Zapfish staring at us. But yeah, I'm gonna miss those guys. But it's kind of cool that they're switching to different animals up on the buildings. Let me see. Oh, I like the music here. What else? King of Wolves says do a face reveal. I've done face cam stuff before if you haven't seen it. And like I mentioned, at Swimbird941, go to that Twitter. Even if you don't have a Twitter, you can see photos from the Switch event, including me and Danielle standing under Mario's Clippy hat with the eyes. I think I captioned it like, oh, it looks like you're trying to save the princess. Would you like some help with that? Because it kind of reminds me of Clippy. It has these googly, rare Banjo-Kazooie eyes, but that'll be interesting to see what that's like. That character of a cap being alive. Alexander pre-ordered Switch, Zelda, Mario Kart, Splatoon 2, and the new Mario game. Man, a lot of stuff, yeah. See, there's so many games. We're not going to be hurting for any, I don't think. Which new first-party Switch game are you excited for? If you're not counting ones that are, existing properties, I'd have to say ARMS. Because, Splatoon is a sequel and everything. But, yeah, ARMS is looking interesting. I'll talk about that on a Smash stream, maybe tomorrow if I can get those videos done early for you guys, but I got a lot of footage to edit of this game as well. Hey, we're brothers, and we're siblings, with the samurai hat, samurai siblings. But I got a lot of stuff to edit with the Zelda and Splatoon footage to put up for you guys and commentate. Does the right stick feel better lower? Oh, I didn't think about that, yeah, says Nintendo Jeremy. He's got the ND tag there. So yeah, on the gamepad, the right stick for the camera is up. And whereas on the Switch, it's lowered, and I do think having the buttons in that spot is maybe, for most games, it's probably going to be more comfortable to have the left stick with your thumb and the right buttons with your thumb in the same level instead of going down a little bit with your thumb to get the buttons like on the gamepad to jump. But for Splatoon, I adapted to it pretty quickly with the Pro Controller. That seemed like it had a bigger stick, whereas the Joy-Cons on the, portable mode seemed like the stick was a little smaller. I could reach it. I saw someone else, another games journalist, mention, not that I'm one, but mention that they had a tough time reaching it. I could reach it okay to do the camera, but it felt like it was easier to click in. It was a little smaller, so for Splatoon, you might accidentally use your special, but we'll get used to it. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Let me see what other questions here. How long are we going? We're probably, man, we're past 2 hours. Okay, a couple more questions, and I'm gonna finish up here. People excited. Mirage is excited for Mario and everything. Is it better to wait to buy a Switch or buy on release, says Zodiac? I would say if you want to play Zelda, and Mario Kart is very, soon after, I think ARMS is another spring release. Splatoon not too long after that, a couple months. I think there's enough reasons to get it early if you want to play the launch games. And I'm trying to remember the other ones in the launch lineup because Zelda's the big one. But there's some other stuff too. Zelda's the main one that I want to play, but there's a few other things. We might try 1-2-Switch, even though that's going to be tougher to record. I'd say if you want to get Zelda, get it at launch. If you can, you know, if you're trying to save up and you want to wait for Mario Kart and some of the other stuff, definitely try out ARMS. You could maybe wait a little bit, but at the same time, those games are, yeah, I think if you're interested in that stuff, get it if you can, and, you know, do it when you can. If not, you can watch me play it, and it'll still be fun. I can play along with you guys if you've got one, so I don't want to make anyone feel excluded if you can't get your own Switch, obviously, but, oh yeah, you can, someone said, how do you feel about using Amiibo on the Joy-Con, the joystick? You can scan them in over the little power button. That's really cool. I liked that. And, man, Zelda, I have a lot to say about that with, with stuff, because it's making me think, but I'll save that for the Zelda video. ARMS is a spring release. They did that on purpose, says Diamond Dragon. Yeah, probably. It was just ready to go in the spring, I'm sure. But yeah, the spring, there's a spring man in there, so that makes sense. My voice is almost shot, though, so I think I am going to end it out here on one more question. But thank you guys for listening to me ramble for 2 hours about Splatoon. If you have any other questions, Splatoon 2, if you have any other questions for me, please let me know. You know, you can leave a comment on here, or if you want to make sure I see it easier, at you know, at SwimmingBird941 on Twitter, definitely talk to me on there. I can reply to you a lot easier directly, see your comments and all that stuff. You can even DM me on there if you got a longer thing. I've got that open for anyone who wants to write a novel to me. Are we excited? Yeah, for Mario Kart 8. Definitely. Maybe it's kind of lost in some of the crowd of the other games, but I am excited for Mario Kart as well. One more good question here. One more big thing before we end out. I am gonna play ARMS, and most of the games. All right. Someone said, "Get some rest. Your voice, stay healthy." Yeah, I need to make sure I don't get sick. I apologize. We've been pacing around here, but this is a better way for me to answer stuff and focus on this. And yeah, what series do you want to do on Switch? I'll confirm some of the ones now. I will be playing Breath of the Wild as long as I'm alive. I always feel like I'm gonna jinx myself by being like, I'm gonna play this, and then it's in the future. It's like, I never know. No, but yeah, I'm gonna Breath of the Wild, ARMS, Mario Kart Deluxe, 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Odyssey, all that stuff I'm gonna play, and I hope Captain Cuttlefish survives. Speaking of, you know, maybe passing on to that great inky well in the sky. No, the great Zapfist in the sky comes for Captain Cuttlefish. I hope he survives. I hope we see DJ Octavio here, even though he's a joik. I like him. Let's give him a little ink to refresh Captain Cuttlefish. He'll shake that off, though, right? What's up, buddy? You gonna shake that off? There he goes. Okay. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We are going to finish up here. I'm excited for Splatoon 2. Hope you guys are. But in the meantime, more Splatterday Night Lives, more Splatoon to get me ready for the sequel in the summer. And I'll see you soon for more of this and other games. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this. Goodbye.